Hey there, art snackers! Welcome back to Hot in the Shop. This is a series where we take a closer look at some fabulous products available in the ArtSnacks Shop. If you're new here, let me introduce myself. My name's Jenny, and I'm a mixed media artist and content creator. When I'm not on the ArtSnacks channel having a blast with their art supplies, you can find me at anartfullylivelife.com. In the last video, we explored acrylic markers, and in this video, we're going to stick with pens and markers, but this time they are water soluble. And to narrow it down, we have the Lyra Aquabrush Duo pens. There are two sets available. We have the primary tones and the pastel tones, and we're going to use almost all of them from both packs in this video. So here's the deal. We've had a lot of snow lately. In fact, my kids have had 3 snow days. I don't know about you, but I'm doing some tropical dreaming. Let's create a tropical scene in the hopes of bringing on some warm thoughts. The surface I'm using today is the St. Cuthberts Mill Bockingford hot press watercolor paper. It's a 9x12 paper pad with 12 sheets, and you'll see that the velvety surface handles several layers of marker and water without pilling or tearing. Another important product I'm using in this session is the Derwent push button water brush. To use this water brush, you just twist off the top and fill the barrel with water. The top has a valve in it that allows water to pass through to the brush. Because gravity works, there will always be a little bit of water in your brush while you're working. But there are these rubber push buttons on the side to let you add more water through the valve once you push them. It's a great little feature that gives you more control over the water flow. Before we set our minds on the tropics, I want to show you the colors we're working with in each Lyra Aquabrush Duo set. Let's start with the primary tones. We have deep carmine, lemon yellow, emerald green, light blue, purple pink, and black. In the pastel tones, we've got flesh tint light, light yellow, aquamarine, glacier blue, smalt blue, and light violet. I laid them out this way to show you how well they blend into smooth gradients. Now just watch as I add water. These colors move around on this hot press paper beautifully when activated with water, and the black is no exception. These rainbows are pretty and all, but my imagination is already halfway to a tropical destination. Let's catch up by taking a Cretacolor fine art graphite pencil in 2H and sketching out a flamingo. This flamingo would look more at home with some plant life. Now, just to lighten up my lines, and tape the paper in place with some ArtSnacks washi. And voila! We're ready to begin adding color with the markers. I'm starting with the plants first and laying down some aquamarine with the brush end of the marker. Actually, most of the work I'm going to do in this session is with the brush end of these markers. It does a nice job of filling in larger blocks of color. I showed you earlier how well these markers blend together, especially with water. I want to use that feature to make pretty gradients on 2 of these leaves. On the top leaf, I'm starting with light yellow to cover the top third. Then I'm layering aquamarine over some of the yellow and bringing it down to cover the middle third of the leaf. Lastly, I'm adding emerald green to the rest and only slightly layering it over the aquamarine. When it's time to bring in the water brush, I start working from light to dark. If I feel like too much of the darker color is on my brush, I quickly wipe the brush onto some paper towel. The bristles on a water brush clean up easily that way. While the leaf is still wet, I do a little back and forth, pushing the color around on the paper to get the blend just how I want it. For the Monstera leaf at the bottom, I want the same colors, but instead of blending from the tip of the leaf to the base, I'm working from the center of the leaf out to the edges. Light yellow in the center, then aquamarine, and finally emerald green at the edges with a slight overlap of each color. When adding the water, I basically blend the colors in the same way, but I attend to one side of the leaf at a time. It is really so satisfying making those blends work. The process is definitely enjoyable. I do a little bit of fidgeting with the other leaves and then move on to the flamingo. The flesh tint light from the pastel tones is a great base color for this bird. When water is applied, this color really softens and fans out perfectly for the look of feathers. Once I have all the lines softened up, I let the whole page dry completely. Now that everything's dry, I'm going to add a little more color to the flamingo. The purple pink from the primary tones is very bright. It's almost highlighter pink, so I want to dilute it a smidge before adding it to the bird. To do this, I scribble a little bit on the Alvin Heritage Arts plastic palette, then add water. In this way, I can apply it more like a watercolor paint. It allows me to infuse more of a pink color into the body without getting heavy-handed right out of the gate. The head and neck are a little different. I do want some more intense color right away, so I add some purple pink directly from the marker. Then I fan out the color with a water brush. While the flamingo is drying, I add a little depth to the fern by brushing some emerald green to the bottom of each leaf. Then, using the bullet tip of the marker, I draw the center stem and outline each leaf. I want to add some more interest to these plants, so I darken them in a few spots. I bring in the deep carmine marker because it's complementary color to the green. It both darkens and neutralizes it. I'm using it on the stem of the fern, the inside corner of each fern leaf, and a few select spots on the other plants. If there are any spots that are glaringly red, I use the light blue from the primary set to tone them down. The brush and water blend these little spots into the greens, and now there's a little more drama to the vegetation. Let's get back to the flamingo, shall we? This bird is more complex than the leaves, so I'm building up several layers. To add in the shadows, I try a few different things. I mix up some diluted light violet. That helped to dull down a few spots. You can see that I'm taking a really loose approach to the feathers, both in application of the markers and the water brush. I start wrapping everything up with the Tombow Fudenosuke twin tip brush pen to add some defining lines. This pen is black on one end and gray on the other. Although it's referred to as a brush pen, both tips are much smaller than the Lyra brush tips. They're flexible though, so you can get a nice variety in line weight. I'm using the black of the Tombow pen to fill in the eyes and the beak because it's water resistant and more stable than the black Lyra marker. I don't want the black to bleed if I accidentally brush it with the water. I'm not doing a ton of outlining on this piece, but I'm actually using the gray end of the Tombow pen when I do. It's working well to gently define edges. The body of this flamingo needs a little more texture, so I'm deepening the edges with the purple pink and adding more depth to the delicate feathers with the light violet. Then of course, softening a few of the edges with the water brush. At this point though, I can leave more expressive marks from the pen itself because I've layered up so much that it doesn't look too crazy. As a final step, I'm taking the gray from the Tombow pen and defining some feathers a bit more. Plus, I'm adding some texture in the shadows. Now let's free this little flamingo from her tape. And our tropical illustration is complete. I hope you've enjoyed this video. All the supplies I've used today can be found in a link in the description box below. And to get 15% off these select products, just use coupon code HOT15 at checkout. While you're here, don't forget to give this video a like, subscribe for more videos, join us for free over on Mix, and follow ArtSnacks on social media.